and welcome to another edition of Tech Trends. I'm Olayemi Udunuga. On this week's episode, we'll show you how a female-led startup is ensuring secondary school girls are exposed to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics early enough. I also chat with Titilokba Adewusi, co-founder of Niger Kids, which is another female-led startup, on how gender stereotypes are affecting women in the tech ecosystem. We'll give you more details shortly. Remember, this is a program that takes you on a ride in 25 minutes to seek out innovation and creativity that are unique to Nigeria.
Looking at the world through a sustainability lens not only helps us future-proof our supply chain, it also fuels innovation and drives brand growth.
There have been growing conversations about the existing gender gap in science and technology and how we can encourage more girls to take up STEM careers. In this next report, we look at how the She Creates camp is helping to combat stereotypes and tackling the digital gender divide.
Statistics from the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, state that globally, 18% of girls in tertiary education are pursuing STEM studies, compared to 35% of boys. This attests to the fact that gender gaps in aspirations and attitudes at secondary level affects choices at the tertiary level. And that is what the She Creates camp is trying to change. Here, girls can develop an early interest in computer science, information technology, and other STEM-related careers. This helps combat stereotypes and tackles the digital gender divide.
What we're trying to achieve at the She Creates camp is to introduce girls to the world of STEM, though we have broadened it to STEAM, so to also include arts as well. So science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. And so we're introducing girls to those subjects in a very fun and engaging way. Ultimately, we want girls to seriously think about considering careers related to STEAM, and also to have an idea how to incorporate STEAM into their learning and future careers as well. So even if they don't end up working in STEAM-related jobs, they are also able to apply the principles to whatever they might do in the future.
Renewable energy and electronics is the focus here, and the girls are building a phone power bank that's rechargeable with solar panels.
Take your hand off, just press it down until it melts with the battery. Be careful, be careful. Wait, let me try it. Pick it up, pick it up. I press it.
For some of the girls, being equipped with tech skills will give them an edge in their chosen career paths.
I want to become a caterer actually, and they've taught me that no matter what you want to become in life, still need technology. So before I wanted to change my mind, but I still want to go with the catering job because catering still requires technologies. At least the tap you are going to use is technology. Anything you want to use is technology. The machine you are going to use to bake the food is technology. So still, it still requires technology. I can even create my app online to show them that this is my food store. So there's nothing I cannot use technology for right now.
This training has really helped me a lot by telling me that there's nothing based on technology that a female cannot do. First of all, I'll be like, what will I use technology to do? with oncology, and now I've learned that I can do it. I would like to create an app to help cancer patients, because most of the cancer patients are always sad and depressed. But with that app, they'll be able to interact with people and they'll be happy. They'll find other cancer patients who they can interact with.
We hope that they'll be inspired to want to pursue their learning in STEAM-related courses. So when they go back to school, they are more excited and engaged in their science and their technology and their engineering, their maths classes. And also, we hope that they will look at pursuing the related careers in the future. And even if they don't, they have that knowledge. They can share that knowledge and skills with others within their network as well, or make money. So we've had some of our alumni go on to build websites, for people, do filming as well, create graphic arts and graphic content, aside from those who've actually gone to work in STEM-related areas. So we're looking forward to seeing more of our girls coming into, STEAM-related careers.
By grooming these girls in technology, the goal is to increase the number of women and girls working in tech-related fields.
So the reason that we are focusing on girls is because there is a large underrepresentation of women in science, technology, engineering, and maths-related courses in university, and then also in the workplace as well. And science, technology, engineering, and maths, they are solving problems, day-to-day problems, and problems that are experienced by both men and women. So it's important that women are also part of the teams of people who are using these subjects to create and build the solutions. So that's why we are focused specifically on girls, because there is a lack of girls in the university. Even if you look at university numbers in Nigeria, only about 22% of graduates from engineering and technology courses are women. The remaining 78% are men. And this is not just a Nigerian problem, it's a global problem as well. So across the world, only 35% of the people who are studying these STEM degrees are women. The remaining are men. So it's really a problem that is affecting not just Nigeria and Africa, but all over the world. So our programs are aimed at addressing that imbalance.
It's okay. Just melt down. It's fine.
Education and technology experts over the years have been lamenting the underrepresentation of women and girls in technology jobs. But with initiatives like the She Creates Camp, the digital gender bias and stereotypes can be reduced.
Kampala resident Hussein Bamo, who grew up in Uganda's capital city but is originally from India, long struggled to find resources to study the languages he hears on street corners. Bamo has fought a lifelong battle to understand Luganda, Uganda's official language, that despite being spoken by millions across the East African country, is not taught in schools. But as of this year, the aspiring polyglot can now copy-paste learning materials into Google's translation service and read them directly in Luganda.
After that announcement, I was really excited because being here in East Africa and growing up not having enough resources to learn Luganda myself, it was exciting for me because as I finally now know that there's a translator app available. Yes, we have Luganda dictionaries in bookshops and things like that, but there are very few resources on the internet. So there are some Luganda Luganda handbooks and some material, very little material online to learn Luganda, but there's not a proper translation app or service which we can use. So that's amazing.
Google's new feature is part of a push to widen representation and reduce bias in artificial intelligence systems. Translation and language learning giants like Google and Duolingo have joined non-profit-led efforts to expand language databases available online. Luganda was one of 24 languages added to Google Translate last month, spoken by around 300 million people worldwide. The new batch includes 10 sub-Saharan African languages, while the rest are mainly used in India and among indigenous groups in South America. There are now 23 African languages on the platform, up from 13 although they still only account for 17% of the total.
Some of these languages are really hard to find a lot of data online and have one-to-one translation from English to that language, because these are really, like, many of them are very traditional or local languages. So what they did is they used a monolingual approach, where they use machine learning and artificial intelligence to make use of all this data and then kind of create these models which help with the translation of such languages which don't have a lot of material of them online. So it's really cool in terms of technology. As a technologist myself, I really admire the way they've done it.
The trend is spreading. Duolingo, which currently offers 800 represented languages out of 40, is working to add Zulu, Xhosa, spoken by 20 million people mainly in South Africa, later this year. Ugandan IT student Andrew Njuki spent his high school and university years hunched over English language textbooks and papers, sometimes grappling with material that would have been easier to grasp in his mother tongue. He believes the instant translation is now available in his trouser pocket will help to bridge that gap.
Almost everywhere you go in Uganda, people know Luganda. Those who cannot speak it can hear it and understand what you really mean. So I think it is a great opportunity for us. And for students like me, I think it's really good, because for anyone to understand something better, you need to first understand it in your mother tongue, and then you can get it better.
Isaac Caswell, a research scientist at Google Translate, said for speakers of minority languages, it can feel like the world of tech is ignoring you. Online translation is a very important signal to show that we do care about you. The African continent is home to more than 2,000 native languages, few of which can be found in translation apps and dictionaries, but that might change soon as Google and other tech companies make use of machine learning and artificial intelligence to incorporate such languages and dialects into widely accessible translation software.
With the aim of reducing carbon emissions and providing citizens with affordable means of transport, 3 founders of Kako Motors startup have manufactured the company's first model of electric scooter with a speed of up to 45 kilometers per hour.
We as a startup found solutions to things that they told us were impossible to find solutions for. The first thing was the charging stations. We did not wait for foreign countries to come and set up charging stations in Tunisia. We created a battery that is movable and can be changed using normal socket.
Co-founder Malek Othman says the team, however, faced some challenges.
It did not work from the first time, of course. There were several attempts. We tried to improve it so it can work, and when it finally worked, it was a great joy. As you embark on any new or unfamiliar things in Tunisia, you'll find a lot of negative comments, but we decided to do the unusual thing and made something we believed in.
Yet to be offered in the market, the two-wheeler has gotten more than 250 pre-orders till now.
Tunisian citizens need this product and also need small electric cars to make life easier for them, and this reduces their expenses and the state's expenses.
Tunisia signed the Paris Agreement to address climate change, and the government has committed to increasing the amount of electricity it gets from renewable energy to 30% by 2030, up from 3% in 2019.
Despite Nigeria's rising technology sector, there is still the challenge of how to improve diversity. The number of women in the space is still very low, and more needs to be done to encourage female participants. In my discussion with Titi Adewusi, co-founder of Niger Kids, we talk about the challenges facing women and how to address some of them. Enjoy the chat. When we talk about women in technology, are you satisfied with the numbers we have?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, the population in Nigeria is about 49% are made up of women. But when you look at women in tech roles, then you know that, it's a different ball game. So when we look at how many percentage of women are programmers, maybe only 14%. How many people are in tech space generally that are women? We have about 20%. So the numbers are far from where they need to be. And that, I think everybody's aware of that.
And as a woman working in technology, how exciting has the journey been for you?
It's really been exciting. It's been scary, but I think it's been exciting. I think what helps my case more than most people is that I had two other co-founders and they're both women. So it's like we are bonding together to make it happen. But I think the typical challenges that women face in the tech space are the same ones that I've been through. The first one among them is your, confidence gap, which is the main reason why a lot of women are not in tech. So there's that confidence. There's the fact that we tend to downplay our achievements. There's sometimes I'm sitting in a meeting and my male counterparts are talking and they're saying things that they've done. I'm like, wow, you mean it? I've done like twice of that. But they have a bit more confidence than, most the average female founder. There's also access to funding. A lot of money from angel investors, from VCs are mainly going to the male. It's said that less than 5%, come to women, which also means that a lot of more successful ventures are male. So those are some of the challenges we are all experiencing in the sector. There's also the issue of how many CEOs are women that have gone ahead and raised funds. So everything is like, it just seems to be, the day for the men. And so this is some of the challenges that we are experiencing. Sometimes being female also means they're not taking you seriously, because I've been for meetings where I go with my junior colleague and they automatically turn to him thinking that, he's the boss, he's the MD, he's the CEO, he's the founder, because they're just that bias out there. And so those are just a few of the challenges that we experience.
So it's funny that I asked you about, how exciting the journey has been for you, but you're talking about the challenges only. Surely there must be some perks, to this.
Well, there has been some perks. So let me give you an example of some perks of being female. There is a major push. So it means that sometimes when they want to choose people, they say, oh, we've already chosen 5 guys, so we need a female to balance it up. So it means that those opportunities and those doors open out to you. I think another part that has been exciting is also seeing people, other females that are just excited because a woman has gone ahead of them and done that. So the barriers that we've broken, the awards that we've won, both globally and locally, have been some of our excitement. So honestly, I should not talk about only the challenges. So we've also won awards. We've also been recognized here, in Lagos, as well as internationally in the States, in Europe. So those are some of the exciting parts to it. Some of our, revenue goals, we've met them. So it's not as if it's been all challenges. It's really been some exciting part as well.
Oh. Even though the awareness and recognition of women and girls in science and tech is helping to change the gender stereotypes, gender roles are still a big issue. How can we go about changing this narrative?
Yes, I think the first thing is we need more role models. We already have some, but we need more. When people immediately think of tech, whether it's globally, whether it's locally, they immediately start reading out all the men, or people talk about Mark Zuckerberg, people talk about Larry Page. They rarely ever mention women. So we need more role models. The good thing in Nigeria is that we're increasingly having some. So we have Tokwe of Crowdiverse, we have Damilala of Shotlers, we have Odunayo Piggyverse, a lot more role models, but we need more. And we need these role models to start from an a very early age, from when they're in nursery school, when they're in primary school. I mean, I was taught programming, and they never mentioned that the first programmer was actually a woman, Ada Lovelace. They talked more about the men. So we need more role models. I think that would be the first thing that we'll do. And the same thing with funds. We need more funds that are focused on female founders. We have a number of these that have started, which is good. But I think if it becomes something that every VC, every angel investor knows that a percentage of whatever amount they give needs to be given to female founders, then it will help to promote that. It would help to create more success stories. I think having those policies, having those quotas, that promote that would be the way to go. I think another thing I would say is that let's start early. Most girls drop out of anything STEM related when they're in junior secondary, so they don't go on to senior secondary to do it. It said only 19% of people that graduate are actually women in STEM roles. So it means that we need to start early. We need to start early educating them. We need to start early helping their confidence. We need to start early with our awareness. We also need to start early in terms of how we bring STEM. The time when we do it, we show it with male orientation or male bias. You show it more as building things. But the other aspects of STEM, I mean, if you show it more as, soap making, makeup making, more girls will be interested in it than just show it as construction and building. So I think telling the story in a different light will also engender a lot of girls to start early in terms of STEM. I think another thing is that math is critical for STEM. And for tech generally. Most math courses are taught by women in primary school. Most women didn't like math in primary school, so they tend to pass on their fears and their biases along to the girl child. So we need to change that. We really need to build their confidence level from primary school, encourage more of them into the various field of STEM. I think that is one of the two things that I would say would help. Once we change that narrative, once we promote more of that, and once we have more of that quota that promotes it, I think we'll do great.
Well, now that you've taken the conversation to the numbers of girls embracing STEM, do you think there are enough local success stories of women who have excelled in technology that can serve as role models?
No, they're not enough. And even where there are, their stories are not being told. If I call a typical girl and say, oh, who do you know in tech? She's not going to mention any women. Meanwhile, there are women that are heading companies in Nigeria that have gone on to have a number of success stories, but nobody knows about them. They're only known in very few sectors or very few, female founder groups. So we need to tell on a national level more of these stories. In schools, we need to have more of these women be brought to the forefront. That's one way to encourage them. And I think another thing is that even when they're, like I said, when we're telling stories about tech, we tell it from a male bias. There's a way they do it that only guys will be interested. That's the honest truth. But there's a way you can tell the story of what's happening in tech that a lot of young girls will be interested in it and help boost their confidence that you can do it. It's not as hard as you think. I think those are the things that can really help us have more, girls start up tech and STEM-related careers.
And how can we encourage more girls to take up STEM-related careers or courses?
Like I said, lots of more boot camps. A lot of that is already happening. I know that this summer was the first time in a long time that I've seen so many girl-focused STEM camps, to promote that. So I think that is a step in the right direction. We just need more. The numbers are really little. If we can get more of this. Also in schools, a lot of school owners, proprietors, they need to promote STEM from an early age. I can't say that enough. And they really need to make it more fun and interesting.
Thank you so much, Titi, for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is where we draw the curtain on the show this week. Thank you for joining us. Remember, if you're interested in keeping track of how tech-savvy innovators are crafting homegrown solutions using technology in the country, keep watching Tech Trends, because we will continue to showcase them for you. From startups to big techs, and of course, inventful thinkers. And if you missed any parts of the show, we are on social media at Tech Trends TV. You can also watch this and previous editions of the show on the Channels TV YouTube account. For Tech Trends, I'm Olayemi Odunuga. See you next time.